Oh boy, motion of the ocean.
That's a little disconcerting. I wish it said like okay or something, just because it's like you're driving along and it's like, oh, 0 bar oil pressure. All right, folks, what's happening? Welcome to Spain, Circuit Monte Blanco outside of Sevilla. This is the all-new Panamera Turbo e-hybrid. Came a long way to drive this car, and I am super excited about it. A couple reasons I'm excited. One, it is the fastest Panamera ever. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, 195 mile an hour top speed. Here we go. We'll do the rest while talking. Folks, wouldn't be able to make today's video without our sponsor, Factor. And you've heard from them. We've been talking about them for literally a year. I love Factor. Why? Because they bring healthy, nutritious, simple, easy to make food to my door. And by easy to make, I mean literally easy to make. 2 minutes in the microwave, I'm good to go. You see, I am a stressed out, anxious, running around person. And believe it or not, despite my size and shape, my biggest problem with eating is that I actually forget to eat. I don't make time to eat. And then I get super hungry and super crazy and make bad decisions. Factor really helps with that. By cutting down grocery trips, cooking, and saving me time, it gives me more time to work, to play, and for myself. Factor's flexible, so I can adjust my order size when I travel or if I need to stop it or pause it for a time being because I'm on the road. They make it super, super easy. You've got healthy, chef-driven meals, premium produce like broccoli and broccolini. You've got surf and turf options like steak and shrimp or shrimp and salmon. You've got keto, you've got vegan, you've got protein, you've got the chef selections. It's all available. There are up to 35 different meals to choose from every single week. You can build a whole plan around your needs. And now they've got this variety pack of wellness shots. Like this one is a lemon, apple, ginger, honey, turmeric, and black pepper. That's probably good. Let's have a go at that. Real time. Ooh, spicy. Whoa! Head over to factor75.com or click the link in the video description and use code TST50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots. That's these guys for life. 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors every single order while you're an active subscriber. Factor75.com. Hit the link in the video description. Code TST50. And thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Chicken and mashed leeks. I've never thought about mashed leeks as a side. That's pretty good. Pretty solid. The real story is the new Porsche Active Ride, which this has. It is a hydraulic suspension. You've probably seen the videos of it dancing, which it can do, but customer cars will not be able to do that. Only the demos are for that. What it does is it has a hydraulic pump, a hydraulic damper, and an air spring at every corner, meaning it has no steel springs and it has no sway bars. That hydraulic suspension can adjust 13 times a second, resulting in Sport Plus mode, incredibly flat and precise cornering. In this car, it is unbelievable how well the car stays flat under heavy braking, right? Under cornering, maintaining that contact patch here on the circuit, and then also under acceleration, helping optimize that. On the racetrack, it just makes the car feel like it's so much lighter than it is because it corners and it moves almost like a 911 would move. It doesn't feel wallowy or washy the way that very heavy cars move when you push them hard. It feels very sorted on its tires. And incredibly, it's right here. So if you didn't have that, Active Ride, it would bottom out and then it would fully extend the shock, and you'd really have a car that you could end up with some problems. But it feels so settled and sorted. Paired with the new e-motor, 187 horsepower e-motor, we're making 670 horsepower and I believe 685 torque. Look at this. Oh, compression. I love it. So good. They won't let us come out by ourselves for insurance reasons, but we're keeping up a pretty good pace here, so I'm okay with it. Look at the way on the front straight here. Look how it's going to accelerate. There's 130K, 140, 150K, 160, 70, 80K, 190, 200K, 210, 220, 238. Woo! There are so many different sensors working together to help keep the car on its optimum contact patch. And there's a speed sensor and a weight position sensor and a G-force sensor and a throttle position sensor, and they all are algorithmically programmed together to make the suspension do exactly the right thing at exactly the right time at any point on the road. And it doesn't require cameras or LiDAR or anything else. Yeah, so all of these sensors in this car, I mean, they explained it to me. It was literally too much for me to process, just thinking about all the ways that this car senses the world around it and the road underneath it in order to deliver the exact handling set dozens of times a second, or a dozen times a second. This car has rear steer equipped. They don't all. Still an option, but adding to the high-speed stability and the low-speed maneuverability in this case. But it's super, super balanced. I don't know exactly what the front-rear weight distribution is, but it feels like when it starts to lose grip, it's very progressive. The tires, Michelin PSS5, the new one. Ultra high performance summer tire. Pretty good. Little noisy here on the circuit, but offering quite a lot of grip. Let's go. 8-speed PDK gearbox, but new for this year, the e-motor is integrated into the gearbox itself, and it is oil-cooled rather than being water-cooled. This results in both weight savings and more efficiency. The battery pack is also bigger. It is 24.9 kilowatt hours. What that means in reality is you can lap the circuit all day long without running out of battery, or you can go 58 miles on electric only. And that e-motor at 187 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque is actually very useful for just getting around. And you can even do an e-launch. You can do launch control on electric only, which is fun. The V8 is actually slightly detuned from the previous generation Panamera Turbo S, because the electric motor is doing more work and they've found other efficiencies. So even though the gasoline engine's making a little less power than before, the overall effect is a quicker car, and it leaves some room on the table for the Panamera Turbo S e-hybrid that'll be coming out next year or sometime later. Load up! I mean, that section right there is so great for showing off how flat this car corners in Sport Plus. It's really quite delightful. There's also other stuff like the new cockpit that started with Taycan and then came out in Cayenne last year, and now it's in here. And with hybrid mode, it's got something really cool. in the Active Ride active tilt control and active pitch control. And what that means is it will actively lean into the corners like a motorcycle, and then when you hit the brake, it will pitch up like a helicopter stopping, and when you accelerate, it will lean forward like an old school dragster. So when I brake, the nose comes up, and when I accelerate here, the nose leans down. Now, this is not a performance feature. This is a comfort feature designed to make your passengers more comfortable with the G-forces of the car. So as I weave back and forth here, the car is turning sort of like a glider, leaning in. It can do it 3 degrees in any direction, which is really, really neat. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it's very, very cool and very trick. And it actually does, it feels more natural than you think it will. It's not as strange when you're in the car as you think. Oh, interestingly, if you're in manual mode and you just give it a lift, not even a brake, it will pick up the nose also. And Porsche says that they are actually capable of making a suspension where the car will not move at all, no matter what the bumps in the road do, but that it would seem too synthetic for a Porsche customer. So they've dialed it back. We drove over this sort of bumpy road thing, and it's really amazing to watch the body stay pretty flat while the wheels are going crazy underneath. You do still feel some of the motion. It's not totally dialed out. The system can even sense tire deflection. By calculating wheel speed versus G load, it knows how much the sidewall will deflect, and it can adjust accordingly to that. It knows before it happens. It's just nuts. They haven't told us how much this car is going to cost or how much the suspension is going to cost. It's not the standard suspension. It's actually optional. All Panameras now come standard with the 2-chamber air suspension, which is nice. It's fine. But driving that back to back with this suspension, there is an enormous difference in precision and control, particularly in these high performance settings such as the racetrack and or a canyon windy road. You know, they have really made this car do things that defy its weight. I mean, this one has ceramic brakes. You can get optional center locking wheels, which this one does have. Those Pilot Sport 5S tires, or Pilot Sport S5 tires, I should say. You know, all the good stuff. This is going to be a really expensive car. I drove a base Panamera this morning that was $135,000, a V6 one. This is going to be probably over $2 million with all the goodies on it. But really, really, really neat the way it does this. And I'm thinking about, you know, my wife who gets motion sickness when I drive fast, which is an unfortunate thing. And this wouldn't completely cure that, but it definitely reduces the effects on the body as you're moving the car back and forth. Or if you were to have a driver, if someone is out there is very Rico Suave and has a driver, then it would definitely make the experience in the back seat better. What else can I tell you about this car? Oh yeah, even though the battery is bigger, Porsche has somehow also figured out how to make the trunk bigger. And considering the battery is pretty much underneath the trunk, that's an impressive feat. I like that. Everything else about the Panamera is incrementally improved, but I still love it. The look is new. You've been looking at it this whole video. It's got a new front end with better cooling and new headlights and all that. And you know, it's so expensive, but it's great. And the performance of it on the track is just amazing. On the street, it drives beautifully. On the track, it's a ripper. It really handles and performs fantastically. So shout out to Porsche. Thank you for letting me come out here and have a go in this thing on the street and on the track. Thanks to all of you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. And remember, always fight your tickets on the Off the Record app, available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.